Listen, if you feel attacked by this video, I just want to clarify that I'm attacking myself first. Just so everyone knows. Hello, my lovely friends, it's Margaret, and it's time to nerd out about NaNoWriMo. Happy Writer Wednesday to all of my writer friends, and also, happy halfway point of NaNoWriMo. That's right, guys, tomorrow is the 15th of November, which means we have officially gotten through the first half of National Novel Writing Month. Some of you are like, yes, and some of you are like me, and you're panicking. I am there with y'all. I promise. I'm there. We're getting into crunch time because we only have 15 days to finish our novels or catch up. This video is dedicated to you and to all y'all who are doing really well but might need this a little bit later, like in 3 days when your characters are refusing to do what you want them to do and you're crying. We all hit that point. I just hit it November 6th. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. I make videos 2 to 3 times a week about books and writing, and I would love to see your lovely face here on a regular basis. Like I mentioned, tomorrow is the middle of November, and I know that NaNoWriMo is going smoothly for some of you. But for those of you who are having a rough nano, spoiler alert, you're looking at one of them, I am here to convince you not to give up. So, here are 3 reasons that you might want to give up and all the reasons why you shouldn't. Reason number 1, you are behind on word count. Halfway through the month means that you are supposed to be halfway through 25,000 words, or halfway through whatever rebellious goal you set for yourself if you are not doing the traditional 50K. It's really discouraging when you feel like you are continuously having to catch up to everyone else who's doing so great. I promise you, if you're doing badly at Nano, everyone else you know will be doing fantastic. And if you're like me, falling behind makes you want to quit. My mother has a story about this, about when I was 6 and wouldn't quit, but like, I'm not 6 anymore, and Mom, I don't have that much energy. And there's gonna be another Nano next year, so, you know, we could just do that, right? Here's the thing. I think you can do it. We are 14 days into November. Take a look at that word count of yours. Look at that number, or the page count, or whatever you are tracking for your goal. Look at that, and look at where you were at the beginning of November. You've come this far. You've made progress. So whether it means carving out a little bit of extra time so that you can get caught up, or sitting down and rethinking your goals, don't give up. You can do this. Reason number 2 is that you don't have enough time. I mean, you sat down at the beginning of Nano and you thought you could do this thing, but then life gets in the way and you're like, how did I think I could do this thing in the first place? Because you've got all kinds of stuff that's going on. You and I have one thing in common. We all have the same 24 hours in our day. What we don't have in common are all of the things that pull at us and demand our attention. In the case of parents, sometimes literally. But here's the thing. Don't think that doesn't mean you can't have a successful Nano. Maybe because of your job, you're only able to write on the weekends. Or maybe you have to wait until the kids are finally asleep. Whatever is pulling at your time and taking away from your writing time, I want you to know that it's okay. Whatever time you have available to you is enough time to get a book written. Now, you might not finish that book in November, but if you keep putting time into it, that book will get finished. So use Nano. Use it for what it's meant to be used for, and that is to make a start. If you can find a way to carve out a little extra time here and there, that is great. But you don't have to write for hours every single day to be a real writer. I know plenty of writers that sneak in writing time during their work break or while the kids are taking a nap, if the kids take a nap that day. I promise, if you keep working at it, you can finish this novel. Reason number 3 is I don't like XYZ about my novel. The first thing I have to say to that is you are always going to have something about your novel that you don't like. Just get used to it. It is never going to be perfect, but it doesn't have to be. It's allowed to suck. It can be very good, but it's allowed to let it suck, okay, guys? Let it be a bad first draft. Now, that isn't to say that all first drafts are universally bad. Listen, I've had good stuff in my first drafts. I've had absolutely terrible, awful stuff in my first drafts. So just let it, if you're struggling with the whole perfection thing, just let it go. No one's gonna see this except for you, and you get to fix it before they do. All right? Keep that in mind. But the other thing is that it is a hard problem to fix. It's like the hardest and the easiest problem to fix because you're technically in control, but at the same time, writing is emotionally taxing. And it depends on why you don't like your story. Is it boring you? Have you written yourself into a corner? Do you want to work on something different? That's called shiny new idea syndrome. That happens every time you sit down and commit to one project. This other project pops up in your head and goes, ooh, work on me, work on me. I'm going to encourage you to resist that. Take notes on the nice shiny new idea. Maybe use it as a reward system. Like if you work for an hour on the NaNoWriMo project, you get 30 minutes of writing on the shiny new idea. That can work sometimes. I've done that before with fan fiction. It works. If you, on the other hand, you are having issues with your story, you can power through and see if it gets better. Sometimes it takes longer than other times, and if it takes a long time, it's just not fun at all. But instead of giving up completely or starting over, I want you to take a step back and try and see where you went wrong. Maybe you need to have your protagonist make a slightly different choice earlier in the manuscript. Maybe you need to throw in some ninjas or pirates or pirate ninjas or explosions or just plain kill someone off to see what happens when that happens. Another one I like when I feel stuck or dissatisfied with a story is to like go into a different point of view and see a scene from a different character's perspective. That might not make it into the novel, but it still gives me another appreciation and gives me fresh eyes so that I'm less bored with it. Or, you know, you could always see what crazy thing can the villain do to muck things up. That's always fun. Just sit down and brainstorm, and here is the key. Write down all the ideas, no matter how ridiculous and crazy they sound. If Pride and Prejudice and zombies can be a hit, I think just about anything is fair game at this point. The last thing I want to do, I've alluded to a little bit in this video, but it is that Nano is more than just writing 50,000 words in a month. Nano is about getting yourself started. It's about getting you working on that project. It's about taking the step that so many people don't take. So many people say they could write a book, but they don't. They just let the idea sit in their head. You are making the effort to sit down and get this idea on paper, and that is more than some people will ever do, okay? Whether you take this to get published, you're self-published, you find an agent, any of that, you are still taking a step towards what you want, which is to get that book written and published. So I know you can do this, okay? I know that you, right there, watching me in the camera, I know you can. Maybe you're fighting for all the words, maybe you're bored with it, maybe you are running out of time, you don't know how you're possibly going to finish this novel. You know what? Maybe you won't finish it in November, and that's okay. You don't have to finish it in November. I'm not planning on finishing my novel in November. I knew that going in. My genre is usually 90 to 100,000 words. I knew that. Just the fact that you have started this is a win in my book. The fact that you are making progress on your novel is a win in my book. Every step you take towards getting that book written and published is a win. Whether or not it goes exactly as you planned, it is not going to go exactly as you planned. If I have learned anything from the writers that came before me, it's that nothing ever goes exactly as you planned, not even the first draft. If you planned the first draft. Don't give up now. Sit back, reevaluate if you have to, but keep putting time in, okay? Keep working on that story. Because you started writing this story for a reason. You started it because something about this story spoke to you, and something about this story said, I'm important. So tell your story. Get it out there. Keep writing, guys. You can do this. You can make it to November 30th. Okay? And that is it for today's NaNoWriMo video. Before you go, drop down in the comments to let me know, what is one of the snags that you hit when you're writing? Let me know. I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Those are both at the word nerd with a 3 in nerd instead of the E. I will have all of that linked down below. That is it for now, my friends. I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!